What do we have here if it's not the talking head with my green screen? My got the green crypto shirt on. Bitcoin, I know you see that. A little Zcash, some Ethereum. Oh, Misa go. Litecoin up in the house, you know what I'm saying? And then I go back to the talking head mode. So you see, the Democratic Party, well, it's kind of sort of, thank you. It's kind of sort of, well, the Democratic Party is across the face of the earth. In other places, they may not be called Democrats. It might be the Labour Party, you know. Cheerio, matey. Or some other nonsense. But Zero Hedge is covering something that I've been following the last few days, and it pleases me. So first, I'm going to just read you something that Candace Owens has said the other day, yesterday, or earlier today, actually, I think. Actually, it was yesterday. The EU election results, as of right now, Nigel Farage leading in England. Marine Le Pen, remember her? She's leading in France. Salvini leading in Italy. A global mass awakening is happening, and there is nothing that the global elites or their media henchmen can do to stop it. Hashtag Brexit, hashtag MAGA. Now, there's something they can do to try to stop it or not stop it, just cause chaos. You know, the lights, when the lights go out, not down, go out in the city. They can play some games with people. Lights go out, EMP, who knows? You gotta understand, this global powerhouse that's been in power for a very long time, generational, is understanding what is happening. And America was the key. And Trump won, and now he's taking control, outing all of these bad guys. And they're going to rat and tail all the way out. Which is going to lead over to Europe and Australia, which it did. Five Eyes spying. Oh, 6 intelligence agencies from Italy, those heads are fired. They're gone. Theresa May stepping down. Oh, the HGCQ, whatever the hell it's called over in London, their intelligence agency. Oh, that guy, he's stepping down. So imagine you're one of the rich families that sits at home and controls shit. And you're seeing this. All my pawns are gone. My queen is gone. Oh my god. It's about to be checkmate. Well, I'm not going to go down without a fight. There's going to be hell to pay. Right? So I do expect we may have some interesting things happening on this planet that may be blamed on some other oh, the solar flare did that, or oh, that went down. Oh, the water had an issue. Oh, that. Okay. Oh, the whole entire internet went down. You know, the Iranians were caught today cutting cables on the ocean floor. The whole internet went down. You know, that way we can go bomb Iran or Iran. The preliminary results are in from the European Parliamentary elections, and just like the polls anticipated, what's this? They were actually true. Polls anticipated the pro-European status quo has suffered a serious blow. The only way that the polls actually get it right is if the worst of the worst that they can try to go for, oh, you're voting for the establishment. Yeah, we want to hear from you. We're going to put you in our poll results. 55% were this party and the other. And even that party that they put in the poll has said, I've had enough. I've had enough. I will not be voting for you guys. It's the only way the poll will work. Winning over 30% of the seats, Eurosceptic parties, or is that, yeah, and anti-establishment groups now control their largest block of votes since the first EU parliamentary election. Guess when? 1979. What's that song? Flashback 1979. Was that I gotta see who does that song. It's on the tip of my tongue. Flashback 1979 song. It ain't no Roseland Woods. No, 80s disco. That's not what we're looking for. Supertramp? No. I think it was like Smashing Pumpkins, actually. Anyways, Jay Snip, can you just, can you just go on with the damn article? Yeah. Meanwhile, the long-ruling Grand Coalition of center-right and center-left parties, the EPP, a collection of center-right parties, the SND, a collection of center-leftist parties, lost its combined majority, though both coalition groups retained a plurality of seats, 180 or 24% of the EPP, and 146 or 19.4% of the SND. Though pro-European groups together maintain a clear majority, this broad grouping has become increasingly fragmented, which could complicate policymaking, while a strong showing from Eurosceptics will mount a serious challenge to the status quo, according to a group of analysts from Deutsche Bank. Typically, turnout in the EU parliamentary race is lackluster, similar to that of a typical American midterm election. But this year, turnout it surged to its highest level in decades, with a provisional turnout of 51%, the strongest in 25 years. Electoral turnout broke the downward trend of the past decade, and that's compared with 43% in 2014. However, differences in turnout were substantial across EU members, with the UK and Eastern European states recording the lowest turnout. In the UK, which only opted to participate in the vote at the last minute as part of a can-kicking agreement with Brussels to extend the deadline for the UK's departure from the EU, Nigel Farage's Brexit party won a plurality of votes, 31.7%, though liberal-leaning media outlets in the UK opted to spin the result as a victory for the Remain camp, as the Lib Dems, Greens, SNP, Change UK, and miscellaneous other parties won a combined total of 38%. Despite being only 4 months old, Nigel Farage's Brexit party emerged as one of the largest parties in the European Parliament. It's tied for first with Angela Merkel's center-right CDU/SCU, or CSU, both with 29 seats. Merkel's party saw their support plunge below 29% and 16% respectively in their worst result in a national election. Matteo Salvini's League Party came in second with 28 seats. Poland's Nationalist Law and Justice Party came in third with 23, while Marine Le Pen's National Rally Party won 22 seats, ahead of the 21 seats won by French President Emmanuel Macron's La République en Marche. Viktor Orban's Fidesz won 52% of the votes in Hungary, taking 13 of Hungary's 21 seats. Though Sweden's Social Democrats remain the largest party in Europe, Sweden's anti-immigration Sweden Democrats won 15.4% of the vote, up from roughly 4% in the 2014 EU parliamentary vote, growing their share of seats from 2 to 3. In Greece, Alexis Tsipra's Syriza was defeated. Remember, he came out, I promise change in Greece, no more bailouts, we won't sell all the companies, the private organizations to the private companies. The public organizations, waterways, thoroughfares, electric companies potentially. We're going to privatize all that and sell it to the highest bidder because we got this huge debt that we got a loan on we never could pay off. So we got a second loan and a third loan, none of which we could repay. But since we couldn't repay them, they went ahead and took all these assets. Remember the Syriza party, whatever it's called. Oh, you came and lied to us, you effing bastards, they said, get out of here. Gone. However, analysts are skeptical that the Eurosceptic groups will be able to overcome partisan squabbling and work together to form a pan-European coalition, which is the only way to exercise real influence within the European Parliament. They will also lose some of their support when the UK finally leaves the bloc, if that ever happens, and the UK's 73 parliamentary seats are redistributed. Here's what a group of analysts from Deutsche Bank said. Why are we even listening to Deutsche Bank? Deutsche Bank's a walking dead man. It's been a walking dead man. That thing's going to be, bankrupt soon. They're going to be shotgun marrying that bank off, privatizing. Oh, we're going to go semi-owned by the government. They're going to do something with that bank. With Above 30% of the seats, Eurosceptic and anti-establishment groups and non-aligned parties are estimated to have increased their weight in EU policy making over the next 5 years, but we remain doubtful that these groups will manage to permanently overcome their many differences and use their leverage to promote their own coherent policy agenda. And they might be right. Which would be why the European Union further disintegrates, and by the time 5 years comes, the rest of the people who thought are going to say, the hell with this, Nigel Farage, all these people, we're going with you guys. But you're going to have to wait several years of more destruction and withstand more destruction of your countries in the EU, more immigrants being shoved down your throat, and you're going to see just how well that works out for you. One issue, whether Nigel Farage's Brexit party will break away from Farage's long-standing alliance with M5S in the EU Parliament but to instead align itself with Salvini's League Party. But the same issue exists on the other end of the spectrum, as Deutsche Bank points out. Balance in the next EP will also depend on group formation over the next few weeks. Big question remains regarding the planned joint group between the Liberal ALDE and French President Macron's Renaissance, as well as the composition of Italian Deputy Prime Minister Matteo Salvini's new far-right Eurosceptic alliance, and the efforts of Five Star Movement to create a new, also Eurosceptic, anti-establishment group, potentially to be joined by Nigel Farage's Brexit party from the UK. Whatever the case may be, the election of the next European Commission president looks to be an incredibly fraught process, as none of the lead candidates will find it easy to win a majority of support. A lengthy standoff with the European Council could push the appointment of the next Commission beyond October, which would raise serious questions about the bloc's governability. EU leaders will meet on Tuesday at an informal summit to begin what could be an extremely fraught process of picking the next top jobs, which, remember, will include the next Board of Governors and President of the European Central Bank. During the campaign, Farage tried to cast the vote in the UK as a referendum on Brexit, a theme that most of the British media quickly embraced, and according to Commerzbank's through the Brexit Party's performance suggests that the odds of a no-deal Brexit have indeed risen, though he insisted that no deal isn't the most likely outcome. Boris Johnson becoming Prime Minister would increase the odds of no deal even further, even if new elections are called. It likely wouldn't tip the balancing power in favor or against Brexit. In the meantime, the GBP spot rate will, Great Britain pound, what is that? Will continue to move sideways. GBP, whatever. In summary, the vote was a sweeping victory for populists, a fact that the liberal press across the continent has been working to obscure. So, the people have had enough. The question is, have enough people had enough to get some stuff done? Maybe not. But if Nigel Farage is in charge, UK, Brexit, I think, is a done deal. I used to love, years ago, not that many, watching him stand up in Parliament and just blasting the establishment. And someone like the European Central Bank guys just kind of looking at Nigel. Oh, here's Nigel. He's going to wreck us. All right, let's hear what Nigel has to say about it. And he would go up there and destroy them. But they're like, whatever, we got all the power. Yeah, go ahead and talk. And now they're losing the power. Nigel has the power of voodoo. Voodoo, hoodoo, you do. Remember that from the Labyrinth movie? He's the babe with the power. What power? The power of the voodoo. Voodoo, hoodoo. You do. Anyways. That's enough of the talking head guy. Take care.